Well guys, so figured I'd finally get you guys a proper sort of review on this bike. It's been a good bike so far. I've really been enjoying it. It's really comfortable to ride. It's a 2013 NC700x. I've really been enjoying it. It's really fun to ride. It's kind of meant to be an adventure style bike, but in all honesty, it's more of a hybrid. The bikes that it competes with are the Suzuki V-Strom and the Kawasaki Versys. It's very nimble. A lot of these adventure bikes, they're built for really more of like a long haul. You know, you're doing cross-country type stuff. But with this one, it's definitely more, how should I say, just regular road friendly, I guess. I upgraded to this bike from a Ninja 300, which is a sport bike, crotch rocket. I will end up getting probably a mid-sized crotch rocket at some point, but I knew that I was going to get rid of that Ninja. And then I saw this, and the deal was just too good to pass by. I really like how it looks. I really liked how it looked at the time too. And I looked up some general reviews on it, most of which are pretty favorable. And so I went with this bike, gave it a test ride, and it was everything that I wanted it to be, so I jumped on it. And as you guys can see, the only modification that I have done so far is add on an exhaust onto it. Makes it sound a little bit more throaty. I'll give you guys some exhaust notes here in a little bit, but the original exhaust is very quiet. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it was just too quiet for me. This one is not overly obnoxious. It just gives it more of an engine tone that you can actually hear. The motor on this is not really your typical motorcycle motor either. It's based on the Honda 1.5 liter that they have in the Honda Fit. The service intervals on this thing are very long. I'm not going to take them as far as the oil changes go as long as the manufacturer says. But they're supposed to be 8,000 mile oil changes. I'm probably going to do 2,000 miles. You know, oil's cheap, it's not expensive, and it's the only other modifications I'm going to do is get a Radiator Guard for it. They make kind of an overlay that protects the front of the radiator there. And then I have right here next to my helmet engine crash bars, which go right up here in the front. Kind of like frame sliders, but a little bit better. They cover a little bit more area. But overall, this bike it's everything that I've wanted it to be so far. It was very well maintained. Whoever the original owner of this thing was, he went so far as to either have this put on at the dealership he bought it from, or he added it on aftermarket. In fact, there's quite a few things on here that the bike is just not sold stock with. The center stand, that's not stock, so he either added that on or had the dealership put it on before he bought the bike. This, as I said, and if you look down there, there's a little trickle charger cable for the battery, and I just found out that that was there. So he had that added on at some point. He probably did that on his own. These aren't all that hard to install, but that's a nice feature that I don't have to add on. Now the luggage bar here, I don't think they come with these stock either, actually. I'll have to look that up, but I'm not 100% sure. I briefly looked at their Honda's website online and, you know, basically put one together. And there was just a lot of features that this one has that they do not come stock with. One of the best things that I like about this bike is the fact that I can actually take it and run errands with it, because it's got this. It's awesome. I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to go to a bike that does not have a decent amount of cargo space. This is really more so designed for a helmet, but obviously you can fit, you know, anything in there. It actually does have a cargo limit of 11 pounds according to that sticker. Pulled out this cargo net that I bought, $6, and I've already used it. I picked up a package here from my dad's house a few days ago, and I just strapped it to the back with the cargo net, and it worked great. Very convenient, very handy. I've just been really pleased with this bike. There is a few people online that are saying, oh, well, it doesn't rev very high. And in all honesty, it doesn't. It redlines at about 6,200 RPM, which, you know, for a bike is relatively low. That's kind of cruiser territory. But in all honesty, the power band on this bike is so linear, and it's got so much low-end torque that it doesn't really matter. You know, you start hitting the power band at about 3,000 RPM, just a little bit over, and it's never been a problem for me. Some of the reviews I was reading was some of the people have been saying that, you know, in first gear, I guess a few people have hit the rev limiter probably because they're more used to bikes that rev to 12 and 13,000 RPM. But I've never had that issue, and I've taken this thing up close to its red line, very close to the red line, and I always shift the gear, and it's never been a problem. One of the nice features that it has on it is it's got hazard flashers. Definitely a nice feature. The Ninja did not have that. I've done 90 miles on this tank so far. And I've done more miles than that. I've probably put about 300 miles on it so far, and then it's got 8,000 miles on the clock there. But overall, as far as gas mileage goes, it's been really good. The Ninja did, you know, somewhere around the 60 range, low 60s. The first tank I got with this bike, it was 55 to the gallon. The second and third tank were right at about 65 and 66 to the gallon. Those are numbers that I really like. So the gas mileage, not really too much of a difference between the Ninja 300 that I had and this one. Like I said, I probably am going to get another sport bike in the future. Probably a Triumph Daytona 675 or possibly a Ninja 650, probably somewhere in the mid-range. I don't think I'm going to do that really unless I find a really good deal or just further on in the future. I am looking for kind of a hooligan type dirt bike, you know, 250 to 400 cc. 650 is just a little too big for dicking around on a dirt bike that I feel. Crash bars are going to be put on at some point. Though I'm supposed to be going to Mississippi tomorrow for work. Supposed to go today, but that didn't happen because of that hurricane that's hitting the Gulf right now. But yeah, this bike has been just every bit of satisfaction that I thought it would be. None of it has let me down at all. The seat is really comfortable. Some people are saying that it's not, but I believe that it is. The gas tank is under the rear seat, and I'd kind of rather have it here, but that's just so much more convenient having all that cargo space right there. That's a decent trade-off. They put it in the back like that to kind of help with the weight distribution, which I kind of touched on that a little bit. The handling on this bike is just incredible. I've never ridden a V-Strom or a Versys, but I would think that this bike would out-handle those bikes. This bike is more of a hybrid of a sport bike and an adventure bike that I feel. It's not a full-on adventure bike like, you know, a KLR is, which is really more of a dirt bike, or a V-Strom or a Versys, which definitely are adventure bikes. This is kind of in the middle between a sport bike and an adventure bike. Honda did a really good job with this thing. They really did. I really like how it looks. Absolutely love it. I get so much attention on this thing. People are giving me thumbs up all the time. People are always asking me about it at the gas station. No, because nobody knows what it is, you know. And they loved it. Though a lot of people love the way it sounds and everything, and you know, just the fact that it's bright red really kind of gets it a lot of attention. But we'll go ahead and take it for a ride. I'll let you guys hear the new exhaust here right now, actually. Sounds a little bit more throaty, but I don't feel that it's overly obnoxious. Not at all. I feel that it just sounds good. I'm happy with it. For how cheap this exhaust was, it's a Dan Moto. I don't know the particular model number, but I think they just call these carbon or something like that. As you guys can see, I got the crash bars on just fine. I decided to go ahead and wrap a bungee around them, so you guys can see, just to hold them on there a little bit better. They were kind of slipping around because of the bubble wrap, but they ain't going nowhere now. So let's go ahead and get on the bike here. Put my phone in my jacket. Turn her on. Funny, my dad just asked me if I got a new bike, and I'm pretty sure it's because the different sound it makes with the new exhaust on. But let's go ahead and get going. I also forgot to mention it's got kind of dual purpose tires on it. You guys probably saw the tread pattern is a little different on them. And they handle these rocks a hell of a lot better than the Ninja did, that's for sure. The Ninja was all over the place. But overall, it rides really nice. It definitely has more of an upright seating position than the Ninja, which is kind of a nice thing for stuff around town. Though the riding position on the Ninja was more upright than most typical sport bikes are, it wasn't anything like this. Definitely plenty of power. I'm doing almost 60 miles an hour, and it's barely hitting about 3,000 RPM. At 65, it's doing about 3,500 or so. So it's definitely tuned for gas mileage, which is not a bad thing. What I love about this bike is just how versatile it is. I love just, you know, it's got elements of a sport bike, it's got elements of an adventure bike, maybe of a dirt bike too, to a smaller degree. But it's relatively lightweight. It's not nearly as lightweight as the Ninja is. This thing weighs about 480 pounds. The Ninja weighed about 380. So there's a definite difference there. A definite difference. And you feel it too. You feel the extra 100 pounds, especially when you get on and just kind of move it around with your legs. The Ninja, I mean, yeah, the Ninja is a lightweight bike. But what I love about it is you can just lean the bike down in the corners. Like I was saying, it handles really, really well. But yeah, it looks like it's shaping up to be a good bike. I'm really looking forward to getting to know it quite a bit more. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. You all stay classy.